Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. I'm Swipa Cam. Welcome to the channel. Y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're here. Hit that like button. We're continuing to build the community up. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers. We are right on the way, right on the cusp to 10,000 subscribers, y'all. So please hit that subscribe button. So I just got done watching the Denver Broncos taking on the Dallas Cowboys in preseason game one, and the Denver Broncos win 17-7 in honestly a pretty dominant fashion. Defensively, they were all over the place. They were putting pressure on the quarterback, which was Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci. They were also taking care of the passing lanes as well, had some good play from the corners and from the safeties. Really, we got to talk about the depth that they're going to have on the line of scrimmage when it comes to that pass rush rotation, and then also on the other side of the ball. Now, they didn't run the ball super well tonight, but let me tell you, bro, that receiver room, they're going to have a lot of decisions to make, about what they're going to do about the receivers this upcoming year. But the good news is that a lot of people had questions about how Nathaniel Hackett was going to be able to implement the West Coast variation that he has, and how are the quarterbacks going to be able to adapt to that. And what's so funny is that I think the best facsimile for Russell Wilson play is Josh Johnson. And Josh Johnson tonight was able to really show what he's able to do within the system. I think really the system shows what quarterbacks are able to do because of how many options are available to them, how everything is about counting and timing and precision. And you have high-level throws that you're going to have to execute, but the system really feeds you very good opportunities to spread the ball around the field. And so it was really actually a really good showing. And I think the first thing that I want to talk through is on the offensive side of the ball is Josh Johnson. And we can talk about Brett Rippon as well, but Josh Johnson in particular in that first half. So the game didn't start off super well in that first quarter. It was kind of moving a little bit slow. And I even tweeted that I'm getting the 2015 to 2021 Denver Broncos feels with the offense because the execution wasn't there. The run game wasn't there. We were just missing a lot of different throws. But by the time the second quarter came around, and this is kind of how football works, when you get comfortable in your pace and with the system, then you find out like there are certain things that you're able to attack in the defense that are always there. And then you know the defense is on its heels. As a quarterback, you're then able to process through the game in a way that's very distinct. And it actually allows for you to take advantage of things in front of you in ways that you might not normally be able to do. And Josh Johnson tonight, this is excellent, was 16 of 23 throwing. He threw for 172 yards, and he had 10.8 yards per attempt tonight, 2 touchdowns, and at a 120.2 passer rating today. That was excellent. That was absolutely excellent from Josh Johnson. And again, man, like I said, if you were just looking at how he was able to distribute the ball, it was excellent. And I think the Denver Broncos are actually in a pretty interesting conundrum. Now, Josh Johnson was definitely able to elevate the play of the team around him. You know, he's been in the NFL since 2008, so he is a veteran of veterans of veterans. He's seen it all. He's been around the NFL. He's been in other leagues as well, including the XFL. But he's able to bring a lot of leadership and poise to the position relative to his skill set. Now, again, you can't expect him to be Russell Wilson, but you can expect him to be a veteran leader in the locker room and be a veteran leader on the field. He's seen everything. But what I really noticed most when it came to the Denver Broncos, Brandon Johnson, Seth Williams, and Kendall Hinton. Now, we already know who the top 4 receivers are, or top 3 receivers are now for the Denver Broncos. It used to be Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Tim Patrick and KJ Hamler. Tim Patrick goes down with an ACL injury. Now, we know it's going to be Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, and KJ Hamler. But really that 4th and 5th receiver spot, wide open. But let me make an argument. I think that you're getting so much production from Brandon Johnson in practice and today in the game. Today, Brandon Johnson had 4 catches for 64 yards, and he was catching 16 yards an attempt. 16 yards an attempt. Then you had Kendall Hinton, the Hall of Famer, by the way, Kendall Hinton. Kendall Hinton tonight had 3 catches for 53 yards for 17.7 yards an attempt, plus a touchdown tonight. But then even Seth Williams had 4 catches for 29 yards tonight and a touchdown. I think that's not even including, y'all, Montreal Washington. Now, the thing is, Montreal Washington only had 2 catches for 8 yards tonight. But if you looked at his explosiveness as a returner, he is going to be a gadget-level player that the Broncos are going to be able to utilize all over the field in different formations, whether they be jet sweeps, whether they be now screens, whether they be handoffs. You want to put like a Deebo Samuel variation where he's in the backfield and you want to put a little bit more agility and speed back there, and you just want to have a 5th receiver there that can operate as a running back. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you might be able to do. But today, Montreal Washington shows that he has to play, and he's going to have to play on offense. But let me continue this. I think that there's a scenario where you have Courtland Sutton as your wide receiver 1, or your wide receiver 1A, Jerry Jeudy as your wide receiver 1B, have KJ Hamler as your slot receiver, your deep ball, your post runner, your 9-route runner, even your in runner, like all those other things that you're looking for from a speed dimension from a 4-2-7 player, right? But then you also need to have 2 players like Seth Williams and Brandon Johnson that are bigger bodies that are able to make contested catches and high point the ball. Brandon Johnson is 6'2", 195 pounds, and Seth Williams is 6'3", 211 pounds. Now, you already know George Payton really loves big receivers. And again, you lose Tim Patrick, it's a 6'4.5" receiver with an amazing catch radius and a great route runner. You're going to miss that. But I don't think that the solution is, hey, let's limit it to, we got to have Montreal Washington because he's obviously our best returner. So then you're going to have KJ Hamler and Montreal Washington as your smaller receivers. But what I'm thinking here is, why don't you just have 6 receivers you actually bring into your starting loop, bring into your 53-man roster? So again, outside of Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Montreal Washington, I'm seriously considering adding Kendall Hinton and adding at least Brandon Johnson. Now, y'all let me know in the chat if y'all think that's crazy. Let me know in the chat if you think that's just something that they shouldn't do. But, I mean, at this point, I mean, even tonight, you all, Jalen Virgil was playing well tonight. And this is what I've been trying to communicate to people that are looking at the Denver Broncos receiving core, and they're wondering, well, is this actually the best receiving core that Russell Wilson has had? And I'm telling you, yes. Now, losing Tim Patrick hurt significantly because I think he would have been the clear best 3rd receiver he's ever had in a lineup before. But I think the thing is now, I think Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy are both going to be 1,000-yard-plus receivers if they both play 15-plus games. I think that's an easy understanding and an idea to have. But I think the thing is, you want to have a little variance between having KJ Hamler and then having Seth Williams and Kendall Hinton. I mean, even Kendall Hinton, y'all. Kendall Hinton is 6 foot, 195 pounds. He's a good route runner. He's really shifty, but he just knows where he's supposed to be. That ball that he caught by Josh Johnson on the left side of the field, that was a huge catch. And then, like, it wasn't an easy catch. It was a contested catch, and he was still able to come up with the ball. So I actually think that Kendall Hinton will be a really, really great addition for the Denver Broncos. And I also think that outside of Kendall Hinton, having Seth Williams or Brandon Johnson or one of them, having them be on the field, I think that's actually going to be a really good deal. And let me fix this right quick because I feel like this is off. I'll try to clean a little bit. Whatever. We'll fix it later. But I think the thing is, man, I think that they are in a situation now where they have so many receivers that are going to be able to take advantage of matchups and mismatches on the field that I think you're going to have to bring 6. So for me right now, as it stands after one preseason game, I'm bringing Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Montreal Washington. I'm probably bringing Kendall Hinton. I'm probably bringing Brandon Johnson. That's probably my 6 right now. Right now. Now, it could change. They might say that we don't want another smaller frame receiver. They don't want to bring Kendall Hinton, so they may sub in Seth Williams. I think either way, I'm kind of good with whatever, but I think I would actually prefer Kendall Hinton to be out there. So that's the first thing that I really took stock of today. The next thing that I really was paying attention to today, though, y'all, did y'all see that pass rush? Did you all see the pass rush today? Y'all, defensively, there are going to be a lot of answers that people are going to have to come up with for this Denver Broncos team. There really will be. Right now, this is the pass rush for me. These are the top 6 pass rushers on the Denver Broncos. Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, those are your starters. Both of those are Pro Bowl level players, especially Bradley Chubb. Nick Bonito, who was a second-round pick this last season, who had 4 sacks in the scrimmage against the Cowboys. He played okay today, not great, but again, even though he played for a rookie, still needs to get stronger in the run game. Baron Browning was all over the place today. Baron Browning was all over the place today. Matter of fact, let me check. Let me see. Where are Baron Browning's numbers today? I think he had. See, Baron Browning. Where is he? Where is Baron Browning? I'm trying to see his numbers, man. I want to say he had 2 sacks today. I'm not seeing the official tallies yet. It only gave him 1 sack. I don't believe that at all. Yeah, I don't believe that at all. 3 tackles, 1 solo. He did have a tackle for loss, and he had a sack and stuff as well. But I'm actually really curious to see how many sacks he actually ended up with today. I'm curious to see what his pressure was, but I really want to see what he graded out as. Like, Baron Browning looks like a guy that legitimately could be your 3rd best pass rusher potentially this season. And a lot of this is going to be because of the fact that it's going to take Nick Bonito to be able to integrate himself as a rookie. I think that there's some clear holes in this game. Like, he still needs to get better in certain places, and I think that he's going to continue to develop like he's young. That's what young players do. But I think that if you just look at the way Baring's able to attack the field, I mean, man, my goodness, like, there were points where he was absolutely overwhelming what the Cowboys were trying to do. That first play that they had today where he had a tackle for loss, I mean, it was just kind of like, all right. Like, I knew the coaches were bent on putting him outside. He came off obviously, like in college, he was playing inside, but his metrics, the intangibles and stuff with him, George Payton and Coach Hackett, they decided Evero as well. They said, we're just going to put him outside, see what he does. And, I mean, today he looked spectacular. Again, he's 6'3", he's 240 pounds, and he's a freak athlete. And he looks like he's putting it together. So this is what I'm thinking, and this is what I'm looking at right now. So you have a pass rush core of Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, Nick Bonito, Baron Browning, and then you have Malik Reed, who's had 8 sacks in the season before. And then you also have Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper last year was a late game find and a late round find that actually turned out to be a good pass rusher in spots. You have 6 viable pass rushing options that's going to allow for you to keep players fresh. But again, this is the way I operate too. Like, I realize that, like, you don't necessarily want to carry 6 pass rushers because you want to see if you can get that around 5 outside linebackers you're having. But for me, where I'm standing right now, based on the depth, I think the Broncos are good to have 2 quarterbacks. Right now, I think that's Russell Wilson and Josh Johnson. I think 3 running backs. I think that's going to be Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, and Mike Boone. I think 6 receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Kendall Hinton, Montreal Washington. And again, it's going to battle between Brandon Johnson and between Seth Williams. Right now, Brandon Johnson. I think the tight end spot, Albert Okwuegbunam, Greg Dulcich, and Eric Tomlinson. I think that's – and Sauber's there as well. So I think this is the hard decision that they're going to have to make. Are they going to carry 4 tight ends as well? So that's something else that we're going to have to look out for in camp, because right now we'll get to that in a minute. So then that's 6 receivers, that's 3 running backs, that's 2 quarterbacks. And I think you might need 6 pass rushers. I think that might be – because the thing is, you don't want to take away from your strengths. What's going to make the Denver Broncos defense elite, if I feel – so tonight, by the way, I just want everybody to realize that, man, their second and third stringers in the first half and in the third quarter. The Cowboys, their second and third stringers, it wasn't like – it wasn't like the Cowboys were just like struggling, they were rusty. Like they literally could not move the ball. I mean, it was OJ Mudia and PJ Locke on the outside and Mathis. Like, so it wasn't like the Broncos were putting out like their elite talent, but even that by itself, coupled with the pass rush, was really causing a lot of problems for the Cowboys. So I actually do think that they're going to have a lot of opportunities to really attack teams this year, and especially in an attacking zone system that we're going to be playing. I do see a solution to the issues of, Randy Gregory missing time, Bradley Chubb missing time possibly, or even just fatigue. Man, get 6 pass rushers in there. And that way, every single week you have great to good pass rushing every single week without a shadow of a doubt. So that was the next thing I noticed. Jonas Griffith, unfortunately, went down after the second play of the game today in the first quarter. So we're really, 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 really going to have to see how severe that injury looks like. It might have been his elbow. We're going to have to see how bad it was and to what extent he's going to be hurt. Because right now, they didn't play Josie Jewell because they know Josie Jewell's their guy. Like, he's their guaranteed number one option in inside linebacker. And he's a good player. But then behind Jonas Griffith, it's going to be Justin Stranad, who missed all of his rookie year, basically. And then it's going to be Singleton, who is a special teams player. So right now, Roquan Smith is on the trade deadline. I said that the Broncos should look at him. But again, paying $17 to $18 million for an inside linebacker, that's just not going to happen. Not for George Payton, I don't think. So they're going to have to find something. Because if Jonas Griffiths is out for longer than the preseason, and then you're going to have to start the season with Justin Stranad playing next to Josie Jewell, now maybe that's serviceable. Maybe Justin Stranad is able to surprise some people. But I actually think that they're really going to have to come up with a better solution than just saying, hey, Justin, do your best. I think he's good. I think he can really play, but I'm also not going to be hanging my hat on my defense, on the middle of my defense being manned by Josie Jewell and Justin Stranad by themselves, with Alexander Singleton rotating as a special team player and a tertiary inside linebacker. Maybe you put Brandon Browning back in there, and then you say, hey, let's give it a shot and see what it does. Let me go over this too, the inside linebacker depth chart. Yeah, right now it's Jonas Griffith, Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, Justin Stranad, Barrington Wade, and yeah, that's the fifth option. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So again, we'll see. I'm not going to speculate anything. We'll see what happens with Jonas Griffith, but he's going to be a huge player for them this year. So really, hopefully, he's going to be well and he'll heal, Lord willing. But yeah, I mean, I think the thing is we're going to have to find out there what's going to happen with them. PJ Locke had a good game tonight. Caden Stearns also played well tonight. Jamar Johnson made himself known today, saying Bassey as well. So again, man, I think the thing is Michael Ojemudia, Damari Mathis, they have a lot of talent at the cornerback position, at the safety position. Because again, like right now, if your top three is going to be hopefully an all-pro player and Patrick Surtain the second, and then having Ronald Darby, and then also having Kawan Williams, and then that means you're also having Ojemudia, Stearns, and Locke, or Ojemudia, Stearns, and Isang Bassey and Locke that are backing them up. So I think, again, that's pretty good relative to other teams in the NFL. So I think that's actually going to be a really, 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 really elite rotation this year. But again, everybody obviously has to stay healthy in that. But tonight was a good night overall. I think the thing that I was most disappointed was with the run game. Tonight it was Max Borgi, and then it was also who else was out there running the ball today? Max Borgi, and then it was Mike Boone and stuff as well for the most part. They weren't getting great runs. The running lanes were kind of clogged up for a lot of today. Let me see. Tonight, rushing, yes. I mean, Scott had 20 yards on 6 attempts, 3.3 a carry. Hardy had 5 carries for 13 yards. Then Mike Boone had 3 carries for -1 yard. And then Borgi had 4 carries for 10 yards. Yeah, it wasn't a good running night at all. Again, I think some of this is they're still trying to figure out, like, when you're moving into a zone system like this, like still trying to figure out where you need to be. But just to be honest with you, their backups on the offensive line aren't great as a whole anyway. So they're really going to have to make some decisions there as well. Right now, they're hoping Calvin Anderson can hopefully, until you're healthy at that right tackle position, they're hoping Calvin Anderson can be that guy. Now, I just don't know. Like, he's a good swing tackle, but I don't know if I want to go into the season with him protecting Russell Wilson's front side. And so that means if he's not holding up, against some of the elite rushers in the AFC West, then you're going to have to put Tomlinson out there to be 6 blockers or put Andrew Beck out there to be a fullback to chip. That's just a lot. You want to be able to maximize all the talent on the roster and not have to overdo it because you're having a player that's struggling. So we'll end up seeing what's happening with that. But all in all, y'all, I don't want to do too long of a video tonight because there's more we can talk about during the week. But I actually think it was a really good showing and performance. The thing I'm most encouraged by, the quarterback play. The fact that mattered, and Brett Rippon also with 8 of 18, 113 yards. He had a 65 passer rating, so that wasn't great. But I would say that I was most encouraged by how Josh Johnson looked. It translated into a quarterback that is a veteran that's comfortable in the system that he's in, which also then goes back to Russell Wilson, him being, if he obviously is a top 7 to 6 or 5 quarterback in the NFL. So if Josh Johnson, his backup, is able to do this and be this comfortable on his first day, I fully expect for Russell Wilson to look very good. And I think the chemistry between him and Nathaniel Hackett is going to be elite. And that's really what I was holding on to. I think the receiver depth is better than even anticipated. You were wondering what Brandon Johnson was going to look like, and Kendall Hinton and Seth Williams. They came out. They played really well tonight, so I'm actually excited about that. I'm really high on the pass rush. I think the pass rush is elite. I think that rotation, that 6-man rotation already listed out with Chubb, Gregory, Benito, Browning, Reed, and I think with Johnson. I think that's an elite pass rushing duo either way you split it. Cornerback depth is really solid. I'm really skeptical about the O-line depth, and I'm also skeptical about the inside linebacker depth without Jonas Griffith. So those are my areas of concern. Running game, not worried about it. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. And then obviously Mike Boone way far away, but Javonte and Melvin, for instance, they're going to really turn that run game into something special. So overall, I'm really happy with the first performance from the Denver Broncos. The Dallas Cowboys are not a good football team outside of their star level players either. So you don't want to hang your hat too much on that. But I think for what you were asked to do in the first preseason game, it went really well, y'all. So I appreciate y'all, man. This is great. I'm going to do Broncos videos all season, y'all. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, y'all. Like the video, and we out. We will see y'all.